So the decision is official. Nalini, Rajiv Gandhi's assassin, is not going to be released. With us on the debate this evening on that subject, on whether that should have been a subject of debate at all or not, because there are strong views on Nalini's release. Dr. Subramanian Swamy is joining us from Chennai. Thank you. Ram Jethmalani is joining us from New Delhi. Manish Tiwari is with us from New Delhi. May I begin by first asking you, Subramanian Swamy, what is your position on this vexed debate that we have had on whether Nalini Murugan should or cannot be released?
Well, what is my position is been stated in the court that she's been convicted for Rajiv Gandhi's assassination by the Supreme Court with a death sentence. And that death sentence is being not executed by a clemency order of the governor. That's all she's entitled to. And therefore, under the law, she cannot now ask for what those who are sentenced to the life imprisonment would be entitled to be considered after 14 years.
Mr. Subramanian Swamy, Mr. Swamy, 272 live convicts have been freed since 2006. Why not Nalini? Under Article 161 of the Constitution, she can be granted clemency. In fact, there are two safety valves for her. Article 72 and Article 171, the President and the Governor's powers. So legally, you are in the wrong.
You can quote the Constitution, but you come to court and fight it. In the court, I am fighting. In fact, even those convicts who are released, only this morning I was before the Chief Justice arguing this matter, and it has now been listed for final hearing on June 14th. So this is a gross misuse of Article 161 and 72. And you can't go on giving it on a wholesale basis or to all those who commit heinous crimes. How can you talk about fighting terrorism if you are going to do this kind of leniency?
No, there are
what
all
is surprising
kinds of
to me is why the Congress Party is not taking a stand.
No, there are lots of long-standing cases. I'm only playing devil's advocate with you. There are lots of long-standing cases. Nalini is not the only one. She is a high-profile one. Is Subramanian Swamy right when he says no question, not just in Nalini's case, but in all? He's taking a hardline position tonight.
I personally think that compassion is a part of our judicial system and administration of justice.
Okay.
You cannot have justice without clemency, and if clemency is a part of our judicial system, then I think this poor girl ought to be released, and as speedily as possible. But you must bear in mind that she was indoctrinated and subject to the power of a terrorist organization. Now, therefore, she cannot possibly be credited with completely existence of a free will in her. She has been subjected to an enormous compulsion, and the benefit of which must, at least in the matter of sentence, go to her.
Mr. Jethmalani, it is going to set the wrong precedent. The crime is too heinous for all the humanitarian grounds to be implemented.
I'm sorry, you are not. Look, that's a political judgment which should be left to the government. Particularly, what do the members of the Rajiv Gandhi family think?
Okay.
If they think, for example, that compassion should be shown in this case, that will go a long way to secure the clemency for this girl.
But that has been the case. In fact, after Priyanka Gandhi's visit, Manish Tiwari, after Priyanka Gandhi's visit to Nalini, that was the impression. That's what Ram Jethmalani is saying this evening. That after the visit particularly, there was a feeling if the members of the family have forgiven her, then compassion should be shown. Then greater humanitarian gestures should be shown. Yes.
If Mr. Jethmalani has finished, allow me to just address two issues. You see, let's not mix up the geopolitics with the legal. Insofar as the legal issue is concerned, yes, Mr. Subramanian Swamy is absolutely correct that there are powers available to the government under the Constitution, and as you rightly pointed out, Article 161 and Article 72. But in addition to that, there is also a procedure which is laid down in the Criminal Procedure Code, Section 432 to 435, if I remember correctly, as to how such petitions need to be dealt with. There was a petition which was before the Tamil Nadu government or the appropriate statutory authority, after applying its mind to it, they have come to a certain conclusion, and be that as it may. So therefore, I don't think it calls for interference, or it calls for a political rejoinder on something which is essentially a legal process.
Mr. Manish Tiwari, you're putting a postulation out tonight here on the news hour that unless the whole truth about Rajiv Gandhi's assassination becomes credible, until every citizen of this country knows exactly what happened, every sequence of events, the release of Nalini would be unjustified and some say suspicious. Subramanian Swamy, may I draw you in on that?
Well, therefore, I am saying, why can't they take a stand on this issue? We know the legal process. They have to take a stand. I don't see any compassion shown for Nathuram Godse. I never saw any compassion shown for Satwant Singh. Why should suddenly Nalini be shown so much compassion?
Respond,
that is
Mr.
the
Tiwari.
mysterious part where Congress has to take a stand.
Respond, Mr. Tiwari. There is too much happening behind the curtains on the Nalini affair.
May I just draw Mr. Subramanian Swamy's attention towards the fact that there is a process which has to be followed. That process has come to a certain determination, so be that as it may for the time being.
The question is therefore to Mr. Jethmalani, who was talking a lot about the humanitarian part of it. Mr. Jethmalani, in this case we are told the probation officer in Nalini's jail said she has displayed good behavior, that she has served 19 years in jail. Now God forbid, if we were to come to a situation where Afzal Guru has displayed good behavior, Kasab has displayed good behavior and has completed 19 years in jail, should the nation feel...
Please understand, we are not talking of only good behavior. There are 10 circumstances, if you ask me, which are in favor of this, favor of this girl. Particularly her youth, particularly her gender, particularly her motherhood, particularly her having been working under extortionate circumstances where she was not a free agent at all. Then her indoctrination, then some show of clemency from the Rajiv Gandhi family. I think clemency is a part of the law and the part of the system, and it is a fit case in which clemency should be shown to this poor girl.
Okay, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, it's not just one point Mr. Jethmalani is making out tonight. It's a larger point. And it's also about the position the family
has got nothing.
Yeah.
A family has got nothing to do with it. Rajiv Gandhi is Prime Minister and the whole nation is his family. And if the family takes this mysterious position of wanting to forgive her, they can have that position. But the fact is the country has to decide on its own that whether a Prime Minister can be held guilty and murdered for a policy which a foreign terrorist organization doesn't like, and an Indian citizen called Nalini collaborates with them. Justice Qadri in the Supreme Court has gone into all these questions, and he said if there is one person who deserves capital punishment, it is Nalini. And on that same one person you want to show compassion.
I am only on the issue of precedent tonight, therefore. Manish Tiwari and Ram Jethmalani.
Well, may I just come in for a moment?
You may.
Mr. Subramanian Swamy, in addition to being a political person, is also a very eminent lawyer, and he fully understands that the powers of clemency have been kept out of the judicial system for an explicit purpose, and that purpose is that the executive, if it feels that it is appropriate, can exercise that compassion.
But Mr. Tiwari, surely you agree all these powers of the governor or a president, 62, 72, 161, is all subject to judicial review. It is all subject to judicial review. So it's not...
Obviously, there is a process of judicial review which can superimpose itself, but allow me to say that these powers of clemency which have been made available to the executive lie squarely within their domain.
No,
and if the executive exercises those powers and it is found that the exercise is not unreasonable, it is not arbitrary, there is a very, very narrow scope for judicial intervention, and that law is settled.
I've got Nalini's lawyer with us right now. Mr. Radhakrishnan is also joining us from Chennai. Mr. Radhakrishnan, you're disappointed with what has been observed today in this case?
No, the government of Tamil Nadu has rejected the clemency petition under the advisory board scheme, right?
Yes.
The only petition rejected by the government of Tamil Nadu is the clemency request under the advisory board scheme. Otherwise, a request, for release in the year 2006 was argued before the Madras High Court. And, the reason given by Tamil Nadu government is, just because the offence was investigated by the CBI, she cannot be released from prison. That is the stand they have taken.
Right.
But the argument before the Madras High Court which we have made is, only on the ground that an offence is investigated by the CBI, premature release cannot be denied to a life convict. She is in prison for more than 19 years. She has fulfilled all the conditions under the GO. She cannot be denied premature release only on the ground her offence was investigated by the CBI. Such a condition is unconstitutional.
What is this book her husband was planning to write, which would identify some politicians involved in the conspiracy? Can you tell us more about this book?
I'm not aware of any such. No, I'm not aware of any such book, and we don't have instructions from Nalini. As Nalini's lawyer, we argued she ought to have been released in the year 2006, like other 472 life convicts.
Okay.
She ought to have been released because she was eligible.
Okay.
She was fully eligible.
Okay,
she was
I get
denied
one quick
premature release only on the ground.
Okay.
CBI investigation was there.
Okay.
Suppose state police has investigated, she would have been released. That's the stand of the Tamil Nadu government.
Well, it is a contentious issue. It's a contentious issue. It's not going to stop here.
It is not contentious.
It is caught in a political tangle, Mr. Radhakrishnan. It is caught in a political tangle.
May I say?
Yeah. Yes.
No, there cannot be any
Mr. Subramanian Swamy wants to say something to you. Yes, Mr. Swamy, you can address Mr. Radhakrishnan directly.
I would like to tell you that even that release, that bulk release that the Karunanidhi government did on the birthday of Anna Durai is under challenge today in the High Court. And today, in fact, I argued that matter. And it has been posted for final hearing on June 14th.
Right. Okay.
So even on that, she will not qualify.
Well, certainly should
that is something else.
No, should Nalini be allowed to walk free?
What Dr. Swamy says is, the reason release.
Will letting Rajiv Gandhi's assassin free set the wrong precedent, or will it be just following the law? We'll follow up this debate once again later. Thanks so much to all my guests for joining me on that Section 1 debate on the News Hour tonight.